Hi everyone, it's your favorite Atomic Blonde here with my annual Christmas Eve special wrap up chat, whatever you want to call it. Oh my gosh, I was umming and ahhing whether to do one this year. I must admit, 2025 hasn't exactly been a banger for TV and films, but it's tradition. And I always love to jump on and wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, whatever you do or don't celebrate. But and obviously to come on and thank everybody for supporting me through another year on this channel. As I said, it's sort of getting harder and harder to do these things in terms of, well, lack of content for one, or good content. But just getting the channel out there, getting it noticed, it's getting harder. And even established YouTubers are saying it's getting tough out there. So thanks for all your support, comments, engagement on the channel as always. I appreciate I've not been around much over the last sort of couple of months with work and various things going on. It's just been, I think, a tough year for everybody, 2025. We kind of look back over the sort of the COVID years and how awful that was in 2016, but that was a crap year. But you look at 2025, that said, like, hold my beer, literally. It's been a shocking year, politically. We've seen some terrible atrocities this year. Recently, obviously, with the absolutely tragic death of Rob Reiner. I don't really want to sort of dwell on that, other than I think it's a tragic loss of what appears in all accounts to be a lovely man who had a very disturbed son. And I keep seeing people going, oh, I really don't want to cover this. This isn't the sort of thing I want to cover, and then continue to cover it. So just don't. I mean, we don't know exactly what's happened yet. Well, in terms of, we know Mick was very disturbed. He'd long had a drug problem, and substance abuse can make people do terrible things, and that's pretty much all we know at this stage. So to lose such a talented person and his lovely wife, and I just feel for his family. I mean, to lose your parents and then it to be one of your siblings, I just cannot imagine what that family is going through right now. So it sounds trite, but sort of best wishes to the family, and I hope they get through it. That's all I can say. Terrible time of year to lose anybody. We've all been there, I'm sure, at some point that we've lost someone around this time of year, and it is particularly difficult. But let's not dwell on the shocker of 2025. So I mean, I haven't prepared anything. Surprise, surprise. I literally finished work yesterday, so I haven't really had a chance to put any slides or anything together. But I was just like, right, I'm going to jump on now. Wish you all Merry Christmas. Just a couple of thoughts on things, and get on with celebrating, because it is Christmas Eve here in the UK. It's actually coming up to lunchtime, Christmas Eve, so it's coming up to beverage time. So I'm gonna rattle through this. Obviously, I've got which I think every year, this is my tradition. I have my Griswold. I think you can see Griswold. There you go. look at Mama. National Lampoon's hockey shirt on. You can get these online from an American company. So I've got that. I've got the film primed up, fired up, ready to go as soon as I finish this. You can see there, I've got, my mic's in the way, but I got my little office Christmas tree. Obviously the big tree's downstairs, but a little bit, when you're working in December, you need a little bit of festive stuff to keep you going through until you break up. So I literally broke up yesterday. So thoughts 2025. And initially I was like, as I said, do I really want to do a review? Because it just feels like there was just so much bad stuff in 2025. Things I was excited for that really disappointed, such as Superman, Tron Ares, The Running Man. I was absolutely gutted that wasn't better. I say, a fan of Edgar Wright and Gunpowder again. Two people who seem like really nice people, and I really wanted that film to work so badly. and it just didn't. So crashing disappointment there. Then we had, the things that I was stupidly optimistic about, trying to give it the benefit of the doubt with Daredevil Born Again. First couple of episodes, typical fashion Disney, weren't perfect, but you're like, okay, this could go somewhere. This is looking okay. And proceeds to go off a cliff. Obviously, we've got season 2 coming up in 2026. Can they redeem themselves? Who knows? Is anybody even going to turn up or care for them to redeem themselves? Again, for the cast, because I think they were a brilliant cast, great actors. I kind of want it to work out for them, but if they give a slop, well, I'll tell you. The Alien Earth. One of my friends, not really into lots of this sort of stuff, and she went, "Oh my god, have you seen Alien Earth?" And I was like, "Yeah, unfortunately." And she goes, "Oh, I loved it." Complete normie, and I was just like, "Oh mate." I think it's one of the worst things I watched this year. I didn't even finish it. It was so bad. And she just sort of rolled her eyes at me. And she just said, "Is it because it's got a female lead?" I'm like, "No, it's because it's got a craply written female lead. That's why I didn't like it." And it's just generally craply written. But she goes, "Oh," and this is a very normie view, right? "But it looks exactly like Alien. Like the ship's the same." I go, "You do realize that wasn't the Nostromo, right?" And but that's the normie. But it looks exactly like the first film. Doesn't make it a good show though, does it? But hey, if she enjoyed it, I'm happy for her. I'm glad someone did. I think it's getting a season 2. I can't remember. It was sort of on, it was off, it was on, it was off. Let me know if you remember. Do we care? Probably not. And oh my gosh, if you can remember all the way back to like February, we had what we thought was going to be the worst Star Trek ever with Section 31. But again, Kurtzman said, "Hold my beer." And he's coming out with Star Trek Academy the day after my birthday. Thanks, Kurtzman. What a birthday present. Can't wait. I mean, I really don't know if I can bring myself to watch it. I really don't want to ruin my birthday. I will check out the first episode for you guys, but it was maybe a couple of days late because I'll be recovering. So I think the only thing out of the things I thought were going to be really bad, which was Fantastic Four First Steps, actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And I preferred it over Superman. Does not make it a good film, by the way. I thought it was I can't remember my review. So I was pleasantly surprised. It got some stuff right. It was quite good in places. It was also too long. But, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And that's about all you can say about Marvel these days. And who knows what we're going to get with Doomsday, all the leaks and the rumors, and they're trying to float out there what people may or may not want. I think the bottom line is people just don't want this film, really. That seems to be what's coming through. Disney is totally cooked. I mean, they just cannot release it. Even Avatar is not performing as expected, which I'm actually surprised about because people do normally turn up for the Avatar films. Personally, I've never watched them. I've got no interest in watching them. My nephew loves them. I got him the 4K special editions last Christmas. Fine. Lots of people do. But I literally have no interest whatsoever in watching those films. So, I think people are just, not wanting to spend money on things that they can't guarantee they're going to like. And, it's getting more and more expensive to go to the cinema, especially in the States. It's when I see YouTubers talking in the States about how much it costs to go to the cinema out there, that's absolutely insane. It's kind of all your theaters are like our Odeon Leicester Square price, like sort of $20. Like, as I said on this channel many a time, I can go to my local View and it's £7. It's cheaper for me to go to the cinema than it is to get it on renting it on Amazon, because it's normally, if it's a home premiere, it's like £16 and it costs me £7 to see it at the cinema. If I want to go see it, it makes sense for me to see it at the cinema. But I digress. So I did rack my brains, and actually I wrote a little list, and there was more things good than I actually thought there were, in my humble opinion. Obviously, you may disagree with me, and do let me know in the comments if you disagree or you think I've left something out. Love to know. All the way back in January, and I can say that because Nosferatu came out here on New Year's Day. It was actually 2023 2024 in the States, but 2025 here in the UK. So obviously, went to go see that. Love Nosferatu, absolutely stunning visually. Very much excited for Egger's werewolf film that's in production at the moment. Lots of seems like similar cast from Nosferatu as well. So interesting to see how that one plays out, because obviously the last werewolf movie we got was a stinker this year. One of the sort of curveballs that nobody really kind of knew how to market it was Better Man, the Robbie Williams story. And again, I was pleasantly surprised at how good this film was. Like I said, I'm a Take That fan, I'm a Williams fan. I don't know, you guys in the States have no idea who that is. But the good thing is it's just a story. It could be a story about any pop star, really, you know, and what they kind of go through and the pitfalls of fame and addiction. And it was just done so well. And everyone was just like, I don't get why he's a monkey. But he's always said in interviews over the years that he just felt he's like the performing monkey. And obviously with his addictions as well, you've kind of got the monkey on the back kind of thing. I'm not really into like musicals and things like that, but I loved this film. I was just stunned how good it was, and it's such a shame that it just didn't do better in theaters. Like I say, they just didn't know how to market it, they didn't know how to sell it. Americans, like, who's he? I don't get this monkey thing. If you haven't seen Better Man, do rent it, do watch it, you won't be disappointed. I'm talking of monkeys, The Monkey. I think most of my lists for this year were all the things that I liked and really enjoyed and went to the cinema to go see were pretty much horror films or horror shows. So we had The Monkey, based on the Stephen King film back in March, I think it was, with Theo James, who we should be getting season 2 of The Gentleman on Netflix next year. Cannot wait for that. Looking forward to doing the rewatch. Probably watch the Gentleman film as well. Obviously Guy Ritchie, very excited for that. Big gap as always because of blooming Netflix. But yeah, The Monkey was done really well. Gory, tension, loved it, really enjoyed it. And it's got that sort of Stephen King, very dark sort of sense of humor as well. Yeah, particularly really enjoyed that. Obviously we had a summer, I think it was, Sinners, which was kind of a similar yet different kind of like From Dusk Till Dawn. Starts out with sort of one sort of film, this sort of prohibition, segregation kind of film, and then just completely careers and hits into this vampire film. Again, I don't think it was like anything revolutionary or like, so we hadn't seen before, but very well written, very well acted, very well directed. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was just so refreshing, to get something, you know, that's not a sequel, a reboot, a prequel, whatever, just something new. Like I say, not the most, you know, revolutionary of stories, but it was something that wasn't part of something else. Same with The Monkey. I think most of the films I liked this year were all pretty much new ideas. Not all of them. The other one was obviously Weapons, was a big hit of the year. I really enjoyed that film. I personally loved the ending. I know a lot of people didn't like the ending, or a few people didn't like it. I personally loved it, and I was laughing my ass off in the cinema. Talk about comeuppance, really, really enjoyed that film. Yeah, I mean, I know they talk about making a sequel or prequel. It's like, please don't. There seems to be something that studios or filmmakers just can't leave any air of mystery about anything. We have to do something to explain how this happened, or this person ended up being this, or how did this person get there. Sometimes it works better when we don't know. I mean, that was the whole thing about like Doctor Who, that they've just obviously completely and utterly destroyed. And thank God we don't have a Christmas special this year. I don't think I could take it. But the whole was this mystery around the Doctor and what's his name and who he is. And we wrote very, very little about him, apart from he's this guy that ran away from his home with his granddaughter and tries to right the world's wrongs and fight for the underdog. And that's all we needed to know, until they had to rewrite the whole backstory to make Jodie work. And I'm not even going to get into that rant, but I haven't watched The War Between the Land and Sea. I've heard mixed things. I've heard a group of people who absolutely hated it. I've heard some people said it's better than they expected, or they quite enjoyed it. I said I'd probably watch it between Christmas and New Year when I've got some time to sit there and watch it. If I do, I may do a review if I survive it, and let you know what I think. But I'd love to know, did you enjoy it? Do you recommend it? Do you say stay well clear? Let me know. Oh, the other one, yeah, I was very fortunate to have a few days at the end of November in Tenerife, getting my last little bit of winter sun before I started my new job. And on the plane, I downloaded and watched Good Boy. I don't. Again, it's not really a horror film. I think it's more sort of psychological thriller, maybe. But again, I was so intrigued by this film. It's all from the perspective of the dog. So the dog kind of stars in it, and it's him and his owner. And his owner, they move out to this house in sort of the middle of nowhere. It was his uncle's cabin, I think, from memory. And his uncle died there, and he had a dog, and it's kind of like something appears to be going on at this house, but it's from the dog's perspective. I will say nothing happens to the dog. I will say that, because there's no way I was watching this if anything happened to the dog. Nothing happens to the dog. It's a really interesting perspective of a film. I think I know what I think it's about. But love to know what you think. I might do a separate thing on it, but again, don't want to give away too many spoilers. But it's, again, not the film I thought it was going to be at all. And it was just really interesting. It's quite a short film, because obviously, I think it took them over a year to make, because obviously getting the right shots, the right emotions from the dog. And it's basically the director's dog, and it is a cutie pie, this dog, absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, really wasn't what I was expecting, but I enjoyed it. And again, it's something original, completely original. The protagonist is a dog in it. There's some really sad, heartbreaking moments in it, from like the dog's point of view and stuff. But I really enjoyed this film. Not going to be for everybody, I'm sure, but give it a go. Love to know what you think about Good Boy. It's free on Amazon Prime at the moment. I think on Shudder. You might need Shudder subscription even. But check that out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Not much TV wise, I don't think this. Oh, sorry, rounding out films. Obviously, 28 Years Later. I enjoyed that. Again, I know it wasn't for everybody, and I love the ending. I love the Jimmies. I think it's very British, very, very twisted British. I haven't had the chance to see The Bone Temple yet. I think it's out. Came out this month. Might try and see it between Christmas and New Year if it's still on. And again, I will let you know what I think. A bit more apprehensive about that, given who the director is, but we'll see. So from a TV point of view, yeah, like I say, we had some absolute stinkers with Alien Earth, Section 31, Daredevil, Agatha. I mean, you could just go on and on. Acolyte, I think that was this year, wasn't it? Oh my God. I mean, anything Disney was just pretty much pants. But the good stuff. And I'm very excited. We're getting season 2 in February. And this is actually Hulu, which is, I know, sort of Disney, but not. But Paradise season 2. If you haven't watched Paradise, I highly recommend it. Again, there's a great twist in there. Twist happens quite early on. And it's not the show I thought it was going to be. And with the twist, it kind of starts with the president of the United States has been murdered, and it's going to be like a bit of a whodunit kind of thing. And it kind of is, but it's got this sort of sci-fi element to it, thriller element to it. There is a review on the channel. Go check it out. But season 2 is coming in February. Really interested to see how this plays out. I hope they nail season 2. We get so many good season 1s these days, and the season 2s are absolutely pants. So I've got everything crossed. Great cast, great acting. Loved how season 1 played out. Given where season 2 leads obviously what we find out at the end of season 1 where it leads, it could quite easily go off a cliff. But I'm hoping for the best, as always. I think one of the big surprises, well, twofold, we had it was Dexter Resurrection for me. Obviously, as an original Dexter fan, we all know how badly Dexter ended originally. And it's like the first 4 seasons of Dexter are amazing. Season 4 with Trinity is by far the best season. If you don't watch past season 4, that's fine. It does sort of start tailing off after that. They absolutely peaked with season 4. But I'd highly recommend go watch those. Obviously, they're on like Paramount. I think they might still be on Netflix. They certainly are here in the UK, I think. So then we had New Blood a couple of years ago, where they kind of wanted to undo the ending that was so bad for fans, and obviously that done well, probably better than they expected, which then led us into Dexter Resurrection. So I was very skeptical. New Blood I kind of enjoyed. It wasn't perfect, definitely not. And say how Harrison was written was just quite irritating. And then definitely in Dexter Resurrection, he was much better written than previously. He didn't irritate me as much as he did in that season, and how his relationship with Dexter evolved, and how things are moving on. We've got the original actor back as well, who plays Harry, Dexter's dad, who, if you haven't seen the original show, is dead. But he's almost like Dexter's conscience on his shoulder, and he sort of sees him and speaks to him, and rationalize things out in his head. But I thought absolute banger of a season. Uma Thurman, Peter Dinklage. They absolutely nailed season 1. They set up season 2 at the end of season 1 with this sort of Peter Dinklage bit where he's collecting all these serial killer trophies, and how this serial killer is still at large potentially. So I think that's what they've alluded where season 2 is going. So is Dexter going to go after this serial killer? Again, let's hope for a great season 2. If they don't sort of change the formula or change the writing team, we've got a good chance of a good season 2. I think it was quite sad that I think it was Original Sin, which was like the prequel, got cancelled, because I actually really enjoyed season 1. Again, I wasn't expecting much. I'm not a big fan for prequels, but the guy that played young Dexter was absolutely brilliant. So I think a bit of a shame there that Paramount has said, no, we're just going to focus on Resurrection. I mean, if that means we get better stories, better writing, cool. But yeah, a bit of a shame, because I thought that was actually quite good, Original Sin. I mean... Oh, and of course, we had some couple of solids, or turning into solids. Obviously, we had another season of Reacher. It does what it says on the tin. Thoroughly enjoyed that. And then we had the Terminal List. I think it was Lone Wolf. Again, sort of like a bit, sort of a prequel running ahead of Terminal List, and different characters. I mean, Chris Pratt was kind of a guest star in it, but very, very solid. Enjoyed those. I must admit, I preferred Terminal List to Lone Wolf, but not a bad show. Again, if you like Reach, Terminal List, those kind of things, you'll definitely enjoy that one. So I think overall, pretty much a mixed bag this year. It's definitely the year of good horror, I think, because horror seems to be the only thing that is trying to make new stuff, trying to make original stuff. And obviously horrors tend to be cheaper to make, so they make a fairly decent profit as well. So if we get another year of good horror films, great. I mean, I say I'm a big horror fan, as you know. But it would be great to have some other good genres. Okay, the big TV show I've not talked about is Stranger Things, right? So I guess part 1 was a bit Marmite for people. I quite enjoyed it, I have to say. By no means was it perfect, part 1. There was some bits in there, and why they've brought back that character from season 2 or 3, I don't know. Nobody liked her in the original season, like the previous season, hence why they kind of wrote her out, right? I don't know. Maybe they did a bit of redemption for that character. Maybe they can write her a bit better. I don't know. I like the sort of the layup and the premise. It does. I think my complaint is the same as everybody else. Is that there's just too many characters now. They should have killed off Max in season 4. Had the cojones to do it like they had done in previous seasons. This whole kind of in Henry's head thing, bit. I don't know. And obviously they just look so. I mean, they're supposed to be sort of 16 now, 17, like 20, 25 or something. So I mean, that's just so ridiculous. I mean, 10 years to do 5 seasons of TV is just insane. But I am so excited for Boxing Day and part 2. I know a few people are really like, oh, I'm not really that bothered. But it's season 5. You might as well see it through now. So so overall, I liked it more than I didn't like it. There was some bits, this constant like sort of Hopper and Eleven relationship just doesn't seem to mature or move forward in any way. They're still like bickering and I mean, and then I don't really care about stuff that's happening off screen. I mean, the guy that plays Hopper, can't think of his name right now, but he seems to be needing some help right now, and all the stuff that's coming out about his marriage. And then I don't know this whole Millie Bobby Brown thing, that he bullied her or something. I don't know if they just thought like any publicity is good publicity. I really don't know. It's a very odd time to bring it out. I mean, she's had so long to release that story, but let's just drop it right before the show comes out. David Harbour, that's it, David Harbour. I know it'll come back to me. But anyway, very strange. But yeah, I really, really hope they nail the landing. I'm going to see the stage play next month for my birthday. So I'll let you know what I think of that. That is obviously the sort of backstory of Henry and Ventnor and stuff. So I probably should have seen it before season 5, but whatever. So I'm really excited to go see that and say how all this plays out. I really hope they nail the landing. I mean, season 4 was just so good. I think the bar was pretty high going into this, and I think that's why a lot of people were a bit about part 1. And I get that. I see that. For me, I think because season 3 for me was so bad with the whole Russians under the mall thing. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking there. That anything feels better than that. So I was like, yeah, it's not as bad as season 3, not as good as season 4, kind of on a par with season 2, I guess. But there was enough good stuff in there for me to want to see where this goes, how it all plays out. And like I say, I hope the Boxing Day, that's December 26th for those who are not in the UK, and obviously the New Year episode really brings it home. Like I say, we've been investing in this for 10 years now to only get 5 seasons. So they better bloody nail the landing. And obviously Paramount have just paid a shit ton of money to the Duffer Brothers, who have only ever written Stranger Things, so that's a bit crazy, and let go of the dude that does like Landman and Yellowstone and stuff, which I find a bit crazy, and Tulsa King. I mean, he's like their cash cow. I don't know what's going on there. Rumors ahoy that Kurtzman's out. We can only hope. Another reboot of Star Trek films. Oh, good Lord. So 2026, I think, is going to be as bad as 2025. We potentially got the Buffy reboot coming out 2026. As I said, Daredevil, Born Again, season 2, Avengers Doomsday. I don't even. I saw somebody comment on X, and I think everybody agrees that they're going to bring back all our favorite characters just to kill them all off. Nobody wants to see that. Bring back Captain America just to kill him. And if he's the Hydra Captain America, it's like, please, I think nobody really knows where that's going. I don't think, you could do lightning in a bottle twice. you know, out of Infinity War and Endgame, Infinity War is the far superior episode or film. I absolutely love that. Endgame at the time, I really enjoyed it. I loved it. It did wrap everything up, but there was some stupid decisions made around the snap and all of that malarkey. It's still a good film, but it's one of those, the more you sort of rewatch it, the more sort of, you know, glaringly obviously things that you see about it. But, you know, in the main part, they stuck the landing and say you're not going to top that. So to try and recreate this lightning in the bottle without any lead up, without any build up, just sort of dropping everybody in. But if it kills the multiverse, I think that'll be a good thing. This is the end of the multiverse, and they go back to actually making decent films. Obviously, we've got Spider-Man, Brand New Day coming up. Again, bit on the fence about that one with some of the decisions that, or the casting, you know, who's playing whom and what characters they're going to play. Don't know. And oh gosh, we got Supergirl as well, which is a shame because that Millie Alcock is clearly a very good actress, right? She knocked it out the park in House of the Dragon. Oh, we also got House of the Dragon coming up. Very excited about that. Yeah, she's clearly a very good actress. And I think looking at the trailer, I kind of get, my interpretation is that she's got some form of like PTSD, right? From seeing Krypton destroyed and all those kind of things, which I think is kind of, you know, an intriguing storyline you could go down. But the problem I think with Gunn is that he can't do that kind of balance between the kind of optimism and the hope and getting the balance right. It just feels like it's going to be very dark, gritty, subversive as usual, you know, and having Crypto pee on a picture of Superman has just annoyed everybody. And who knows if Gunn's even still going to be in charge by the time this film comes out, with Netflix taking over WB. So they're saying this is so they can do more theatre releases. Remains to be seen. I know a lot of people are saying are really concerned about physical media, that it's going to, because WB is one of the best at physical media. I don't know if it's a big revenue earner. You'd like to think that they'd keep that going. And the demand is there for 4K, definitely. So again, I guess we have to watch that space. But I really hope it's not the end of physical media. There's so many things, especially when it comes to comedies, that I buy, because now like episodes are taken down all over the place because of like, oh, you can't say that and you can't do this, you can't do that. I mean, I think I've got Little Britain on DVD, which, you know, you just never get shown now, and especially even now with all the what's going on with David Walliams. It's just I mean, that stuff annoys me. I mean, the guy's a bit creepy. He's always been a bit ick, but he's not been proved of doing anything right now. There's allegations, and he's lost everything on allegations. And I'm not saying those allegations aren't true. It's like my gut says that they probably are, but he's not. You know, people just keep losing their careers over what somebody alleged they've done. You know, you don't need to have any proof, I think. And especially what's going on in the UK, you know, our freedom of speech is being eroded. They want to move to not having jury trials. All these kind of things just don't sit well with me, I have to say. And something like that, like, should you lose your career because you're immoral? I don't know. Probably. I don't know. But something has to be proved, right? Something, you can't just say something about someone and they lose everything. Anyway, that's getting a bit dark. Let's not go down that path on Christmas Eve, guys. I hope you've watched all your Christmas films. As I said, I've watched my Scrooged, the Bill Murray, this morning. Anyone who's followed this channel since I've launched it, you know the Christmas Eve routine. Scrooged, American Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, rounding out with It's a Wonderful Life, Chinese Takeaway, and Fizz. That is my Christmas Eve. So I've already watched Scrooge this morning. After this, it will be National Lampoons and opening the Fizz. Can't wait. I've already watched, obviously, Muppets Christmas Carol, absolutely essential. Alistair Sims, Scrooge, A Christmas Carol. There's a bit of theme. I do like A Christmas Carol. You might have got that theme. Obviously, Tim Allen, the Santa Claus trilogy. I must admit, when I first watched the trilogy, the third one, I didn't like it that much. I was always a bit like, and I still feel it is the weakest out of the three, but it has grown on me. It's definitely grown on me, the third one. It's not as bad as I remember it being. And then the Santa Clauses, I mean, yeah, typical Disney. Obviously, they've managed to orchestrate it so the girl's going to be the next Santa, because of course she is. Oh, that reminds me actually of one show I haven't spoken about. Welcome to Derry. I'd done a review, I think, on the first couple of episodes back in October when it launched around Halloween. And I really like those. I'm pleased to report I actually really enjoyed the whole series. I know, I'm like, what? Pretty strong episodes all the way through. It's been weaved into like The Shining with Dick Halloran being a character in it. He's in the Air Force, and obviously they're using his shine powers to try and locate it. Weaved in well to the recent films. Obviously, the same guy who done the films has done the series, Machete. I think how you pronounce it. Yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised. I mean, it was gory. They did not hold back being a TV show. The only thing that I did raise as one of my, it's a bit obvious, and they did it again. They basically just killed off all the straight white kids, boys, and I just felt that was a bit on the nose. That all the poor straight white kids just got killed. Yeah, so that was a little bit like, really, like, did they really deserve that? They're pretty nice boys, pretty nice kids. The girls survived, the black kid survived, which he had to, because yeah, it's his grandson that's in the Losers Club in the film, so he kind of had to survive. But even still, that, I think for me, that was the only thing that was a little bit like, really. But otherwise, a very solid show, well written. Skarsgård was brilliant in it. I really enjoyed the season finale. There's several paths they can go down for season 2, and they've weaved it into the sort of end scene sort of skips to where chapter 1 starts, and I thought that was done very well as well. So the sort of backstory of Pennywise and him and that I thought was very good. I enjoyed all of that. I say, and kind of tying it into The Shining, quite interesting. So yeah, I definitely recommend, for me, if you like Stephen King, you like the It films, I think you'll really enjoy this. Say, apart from a little bit of the let's kill off all the white kids, the male white kids, but thoroughly enjoyed. Interesting to see where they go with season 2, because they could go down a couple of paths. So I'd love to know your thoughts on that. Do you agree with what I've liked, what I've disliked? Is there something I've missed that should be on the list? I know I didn't mention Final Destination Bloodlines. I know, yeah, another sequel, but that was another banger of a horror film this year. What are you looking forward to in 2026? Is there anything you're not looking forward to? I'm definitely not looking forward to Star Trek Safe Space Academy. And jumping all the way to this time next year, we get another Doctor Who Christmas special, and we don't even have a doctor, so that should be interesting. Yay. Oh god, they can't defund the BBC quick enough, quite frankly. Anyway, so looking forward to Paradise season 2. Looking forward to the Odyssey. Looking forward to that coming out. Nolan, I know people are already like moaning, saying the armor's not right. I mean, guys, in the scale of the problems we have with our films, just getting a decent film would be a bonus. Let's not worry about armor. I know there's some very questionable casting decisions in terms of diversity, but I'm just hoping for a good film, good story. Nolan, you probably got 90% chance of it being good, but who knows? There's a point in people's careers like Nolan where there's no one to rein them in anymore, right? To be fair, they've earned their stripes, they've done their thing, but sometimes you need reining in. And the new Spielberg film, Disclosure, I believe, and there's like some sort of alien invasion kind of thing. Obviously, we've not had a kind of proper fictional sci-fi film from Spielberg in a long time. Does he still have it again? If you haven't got people reining you in, not taking advice, who knows? But I have to say, the teaser trailer was good. It had me hooked. I love Emily Blunt. Is it Emily Blunt? No. Yes. No. Oh, I love her so much. Can't even remember her name. Amazing. Honestly, guys, I'm ready for my fizz now. You know. What's her name? Don't get old, people. Yeah, your brain just goes, you know, it's just, yeah. I was right, Emily Blunt. So yeah, I took myself out of it and I was actually right. Yeah. Yeah, so looking forward to that. Looking forward to further trailers on that. And who knows what vomit or what Disney is going to vomit up for us next year. Let's make our Christmas wish that Kurtzman is ejected from Star Trek. What else should we wish for? What else can Santa bring us? I think just park Doctor Who. Just give it a few years, you know, and a decent showrunner. But right now, anywho, so some good, some bad, a lot bad in 2025. Who knows what 2026 is going to bring? The world is a bonkers place right now. And if you're my age, middle-aged, it's all a bit deja vu. It feels like this is where we were in the 80s. You know, we had the Cold War. We had trouble in the Middle East. And I think as a teenage kid in the 80s, you didn't think the world was going to make it. And I think that maybe that's why we lived more in the moment. We had fun because we all just thought someone was going to push the button and it was good night Vienna. And I think maybe we need to get a bit more of that living in the moment, be a bit nicer to each other. But kids really learn to have fun again and stop worrying about what tomorrow brings and be with your friends, have a good time, go outside, touch the grass, all that good stuff. So let's hope 2026 brings all that good stuff and that I will be here next Christmas moaning about TV and nothing bad has happened, if you know what I mean. Like, we are still here to moan about Disney and Paramount and what Netflix is doing to the WWE. Let's hope, hey? Let's hope for a peaceful, happy 2026. That's all we can do. We'll be a bit nicer to each other. Let's see what happens, hey guys. So, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I may jump on for a New Year's one. I normally do a New Year's one as well. If I just had a bit of a ramble, probably had too much fizz. You know what I'm saying? But if not, have a fantastic New Year. And I will be back in 2026. Maybe New Year's Eve, back in 2026. Or maybe even in between if I get a bit bored. But there's a lot going on. So have a fantastic holiday. Whatever you celebrate, or even if you're not celebrating, have a great rest of the year. And I'll be back soon. How can I leave without the immortal lines, guys, right? Please like, share and subscribe. You know it's really important. I'd love to see the channel grow next year. Like I said, it's incredibly difficult. And time is one thing that most of us don't have, but never mind. So anyway, right. Have a good one. Take care. And I'll see you soon.